So welcome back to CSPN, and today we have a lot of content for you, but we're first going to go ahead and define modern combat sports, a term that you will hear thrown around a lot. So basically what modern combat sports is anything that simulates a live combat exercise. So whether it be paintballing, airsofting, splatmaster, it's all modern combat sports. So my friend Adam here, an avid modern combat sports enthusiast, what is your take on modern combat sports?
My take on modern combat sports would basically be anybody who likes military simulated games or likes to go out and compete with their friends on the weekends. Shooting paint or shooting plastic, whichever it is, it's definitely for anybody.
Yeah, and the analogy that we used earlier was how bicycling, skateboarding, and rollerblading, they all go to the X Games, but they're all technically still in the same sport because they're all on wheels. So what we're saying here is that no matter what projectile you're shooting, as long as you're simulating combat, you are participating in modern combat sports, and that's what we're all about here. So let's go ahead and talk about the products that we've got going today. Alright, so our first product for today is the Tacamo Storm. I've received a lot of emails about the Tacamo Storm, and we finally have some updates for you guys. We're in the very late production stages with this marker, and you guys will finally be able to get your hands on it soon. So Adam, what do you think about this marker?
I think it's really cool. I'm looking forward to getting my hands on it and shooting it myself.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure of shooting it, and I love the way the lock bolt mechanism works. I haven't had a single chop, and that's something to be very happy about, because every paintballer hates chopping. Like, it's the worst. We're gonna go ahead and show you how the lock bolt mechanism works on this thing.
All right.
So here's a very early production stage of the Tacamo Storm with all the internals stripped out of it other than the lock bolt. And here's a lock bolt right here. So right now we're simulating that there is a paintball in the chamber, or you have a magazine in there that has a paintball inside of it. And as you can see, with the paint inside of your marker, the bolt will pass through unhindered every time. And when the chamber is empty, or you don't have a magazine in there, you don't have paint in there, the bolt will never pass through. And this will virtually prevent chopping. And that's some phenomenal news. Because who likes to shoot splattered paint at people? Nobody. You want to shoot them with the actual ball. So as a person who airsofts a lot, is this good news to you that you can finally have a consistent shot?
Definitely.
You want to hold it and see how you like the feel of it?
Oh, it's heavier than it looks.
Yeah.
It's nice. So when the bolt locks back, does it you can actually see inside here?
Yeah,
it's cool.
You'd be able to see, with this one doesn't have the lock bolt inside of it, if you can see right here.
Oh, okay.
We don't have the lock bolt in there yet, but right now if we had the lock bolt in there and you pulled the trigger, it would not go forward like so. Okay. Because the lock bolt's holding it back because there's no paint inside of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a spring in there that holds the...
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's nice. It's definitely small. I like the grip, it's small. Get my hand on it easily. Has a real nice grip. The actual grip itself, the hand grip is nice.
Yeah, I love how it's just, it looks like you combined an SMG with a rifle, and it's just a very beautiful hybrid weapon.
Yeah, it's really nice. I like how the stock is, stock adjustable. It's nice.
Yeah, mag pull, yeah.
That's very cool.
Alright, so let's go ahead and move on to our next product. Something that we've probably received an equal amount of inquiries and emails about. It's our Helix mag. And this is the next step in the evolution of milsim paintball, because we're getting closer to having a realistic magazine for you. This still does hold 20 rounds like the D-mag, but unlike the D-mag, you don't have to switch it around after every 10. And that's good news for anybody who wants to get into the sport like Adam here, and he can now finally have a realistic magazine that is still cost effective and very simple and reliable. So how do you feel about the build on it?
It's really solid.
Yeah.
What is this comparing to? Notice you have a couple other magazines.
Yeah, this is our oldest magazine here. This is going back about 15 years when we made this, and this magazine does hold 20 like that, but you have to wind it up, and that's not going to allow you to rapidly put rounds in your magazine if it runs out.
Yeah. Well,
and it's also going to be less cost effective for us and for you because we have the more internals inside of it, and you're also more likely to get a jam because of the winding the spring up too much or whatever.
yeah, this was really nice.
Yeah, and compared to the D-Mag, which is also a good magazine, it's just miles better because you have 20 just ready to go. Unlike this one, you have to switch it over every 10.
Are these guys expensive?
They're going to be around the same price as the D-Mag. The D-Mag's currently running at $6, and we don't have the final price on the Helix mag, but it is definitely still going to be a very cost-efficient magazine. That's what we're going for.
So your entry-level guys, your new players will be able to complete their loadout with a sufficient amount of ammunition.
Yeah, and
or simunition.
I even think the Helix, it looks. I think it's a step above in the aesthetic aspect too. I think it looks a lot better.
Yeah, it's not much larger than say an airsoft version, which just a little bit narrow.
Yeah, it does kind of look like a typical mid-cap from
yeah,
airsoft.
Honestly, I wouldn't. If you threw it at me and I glanced at it, I wouldn't know what the difference is.
Yeah.
Until of course I realized that airsoft wouldn't fit.
Yeah. So if you guys wanted to get your hands on this earlier than when you release it, you can go ahead and head on over to the DFW game in Fort Worth, Texas on the 25th and the 26th and go to the Rap 4 booth there. And you'll be able to test fire and maybe even use the Tacamo Storm on the field, as well as get your hands on the Helix mag. And that's an incentive to go if you want to go out to the DFW game in Fort Worth, Texas. All you have to do is head over to our Modern Combat Sports page and check out the events, and you'll see everything that we have coming up. Some other events that we have coming up is the Super Game May 1st in Oregon, and the Lion Claw Airsoft game Memorial Day, and we have the Rap 4 Oklahoma D-Day in June, and finally we have the announcement for End War 6, which is coming this October. And we will go into more detail on those events in later episodes as they get closer. This brings us to our last segment of CSPN, the Marker of the Week. This week's winner of Marker of the Week goes to Cristian Rivas. Just look how beautiful this marker is. It's black and tan, respect for that. It's our very own Rap 4 468 with a DMR upgrade. It has a 13-inch Troy handguard, a 16-inch shape projectile barrel, a 1-inch riser with HHA optimizer adjustable, and a custom 13 CI stock. This is an extremely sexy gun, and thank you, Cristian, for submitting your Marker of the Week. Alright guys, thanks for watching CSPN, and please be sure to leave in the comments your requests for more content that you'd like to see in our next episode of CSPN, and be sure to message Modern Combat Sports if you have any events that you'd like us to put in our event page. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week.